episode number 59 with Gaurav Sharma. Guys, every once in a while you get to meet someone who has an amazing story of how they came to know Jesus Christ and how they became a Christian. These stories are amazing, inspiring, uplifting, and encouraging because they show the mighty hand of God at work in the lives of his dear children. Now, Gaurav, or just G as his friends call him, is one of these people. G was born in India and raised a Buddhist. However, he was discontent with his nation and his religion, so he decided to pursue a better life in America. I want you guys to listen in as G tells his astounding story of how God brought him out of a pagan life into a new life in Christ, and how he's now using him in many ways to bless others and has blessed G in amazing ways. Now, before we jump into the show, I've asked Robbie Harmon from Life Lessons with Biblical Answers to give us his brief answer to the question, what does it mean to be a great dad? Be sure to check out what Robbie is doing with Life Lessons with Biblical Answers by going to the show notes after the show.
Hello, my name is Robbie Harmon. I'm a preacher and community leader for Life Lessons with Biblical Answers on Facebook. When I hear the question, what makes a great dad, I often get stumped for words. That's because the way I see it, being a great dad is like being a Christian. It requires attention and action on our part. How will your wife know you are part of the team if you're not willing to participate? How will your children know you love them if you don't come and spend some time with them? It takes a full effort from us to be the best example in Christian we can be. My family includes 3 kids, 18-year-old Levi, 11-year-old Rose, and 4-year-old Livy. Yeah, I run the full gamut of excitement these days. I go to White Castle runs with Levi, watch and attend wrestling matches with Rose, and enjoy PJ Masks live with Livy. And that requires a lot of time, and as men who work full-time jobs, it is often hard, especially when we've got ministry and other things to worry about. The key you have to remember is that the Lord wants you to be over the family he's blessed you with. There are priorities, and they are the number one to us. Not me, not my friends, not work, and not always the things we might like. If we are actively engaged dads who follow the Lord, it will be evident in how well the entire family functions and responds. It doesn't have to be some epic or huge events. It just can show willingness to support one another. A month or so back, my wife Andrea said that she wanted to take a diet challenge and sighed, very sadly. I said, well, you should try it if you want to. She said, I know, I just don't think I can do it with the food choices that we're making here at the house. Just to let you guys know, I'm the world's pickiest eater, okay? My vegetables consist of roast beef and steak, okay? That's about it. Not much else green there. It was at that point I remembered how much my wife had given me support in times when I had to be placed on a diet. And I told her, I said, let me do something about it. I'm willing to try anything once. Let's fix that. She smiled and said, really? You're willing to do that? I said, yes, ma'am. Called the kids in. First, they were pretty skeptical, but I told them, this is for your mom, and this is for us in the long term. The next day, I started sending her recipes that cut fat and carbs all together. She was so excited. And guys, you'd be proud of me. And I had a whole plate of meat in front of me. I had ribs and chicken and all. And I ate the broccoli casserole and the corn and only nibbled on that meat. That said, it takes our very best to help our families to be the very best they can be.
What's up, Dad Hackers? My name is Patrick Antonucci, and I am the host and founder of this podcast and community of Dad Hackers. Dad Hackers is a community of Christian fathers who are devoted to encouraging, equipping, and enabling one another to become the men that God has created and called us to be, so that we can raise up the next generation of fully devoted followers of Christ and leave a legacy of multi-generational faithfulness. Now, on this show, we primarily interview Christian men to dive deep into their experiences and insights into what it means to be a Christian man, a Christian husband, a Christian father, and a Christian leader. We ask questions that dig deep into the thinking and rationale and experiences of these men so that we can all learn and grow into the men that God is calling us to be. I'm so thankful that you've joined us today. Make sure you subscribe so that you never miss any of our value-packed episodes. Also, please make sure you leave an honest review if you're listening to this in iTunes or any other platform that takes reviews. Reviews boost the show's ratings, which means that more dads are going to come across our show and benefit from the content that we put out. I also wanted to let you know that we do have a free private Facebook group just for Christian dads. So after the show, make sure you hop on over to the show notes. There's a link for that in there as well. All right, G, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm good, Patrick. How are you doing today?
Fabulous, man. Fabulous. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure. And thank you so much from bottom of my heart for asking me to do this, because I think we're going to inspire a lot of people with this. Thank you.
I think so too, man. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. So, G, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your context as a Christian husband, father, just so guys can get a feel for who you are and where you're coming from, and then we'll dive into some stuff, man.
Yeah. So I am a weight loss specialist, and I am known as, in my area, America's faith-based weight loss specialist. I help men and women losing weight, look great, and feel great. And I started my faith-based business almost like 4 years ago. But I have been in personal training business for like almost 13 years. So I started when I was like 18 years old, 2006. My first job was in India because I was born in India. And since then, I'm in the game and helping people, and I'm living my dream. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I want to get into your story about how you came from India to America and that whole transition. And I know you grew up Hindu for a while, so we'll chat about that. Tell us a little bit about your family. What's your home life like?
Yeah, so family in India or in America?
Oh, in America for now, and then we can backtrack.
I have two beautiful kids. Their son is like 8 years old, Jay, and Marissa is 11-year-old. She's going to be turning 11 in August. And I have a beautiful wife, she is white, and we've been married for like almost 10 years, which has changed my life upside down for good. So they keep me on track, and I just I feel very thankful and very grateful for what I have right now, because it's like I would never thought I would have that beautiful family.
Yeah, you do have a beautiful family, man. You are definitely blessed.
Thank you.
So we briefly talked about how you were born in India and then eventually came to America. Can you tell us that story of how that all happened, how you ended up coming to America, how you ended up converting, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah. So 10 years ago, in 2009, I was ready to leave my home to find a new home for me, because I grew up in I don't want to say like all Indian culture is really bad, but like in my house, my dad, we grew up in a joint family. So like my grandma, my uncle, and my dad's sister, we all were living in the house together. And my mom, she came from really educated background, and my dad came from a background where he was not educated at all, but he was very successful in his business. So he did not have any idea how to take care of a woman or a family, because he always grew up in a culture where they were like they just tell them work hard and just do the work and provide for the family. If don't worry about the wife, don't worry about the kids, just give them money and they're going to be okay. So I don't want to call my dad like he was not a great dad, but I think he was not educated enough to raise a family. Giving kids money is a different thing. Raising a family is a different thing. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, It holds a lot of value. So I would say my dad helped us out a lot, but he was not a guy or the father I was looking for in my life. And I just didn't know that. I didn't know what to do. So my dad used to beat my mom for over nothing. And he used to do same thing with us. So we were growing up in a culture where we thinking, oh, this is how it is. When you do bad things, your dad beat the heck out of with a baseball bat, and he would do the same thing with your mom. But whenever he do wrong things, he don't punish himself like he's doing it to us. So what does that mean? So I start going out to do my jobs and stuff. Then we will talk to people what happened in our house. They will say, that's a harsh life. They would say, you guys are having a very harsh life. You don't supposed to do that to you. And then a long time ago, I was just growing up in a really bad culture where my mom, she got really sick because she was really tortured from her mother-in-law and uncle and all that. So they were just keep putting my mom down. So it's a really dominant man life in India. Men dominate the woman. Or if the man has a wife, so man would do whatever his mother asked him to do because he didn't want to make his mother upset. So it's just a culture. It's a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just tired of the culture. I was like, well, my mom is beaten and here she's sick and I cannot take care of my mom. And she was almost getting like mentally sick where we have to lock down our mom in the bedroom every day. And she just can't go out, because if you're going to let her out, she's going to run away like a mental retarded person. So we just have to learn how to stay strong. And one day I was just talking to one of my cousin, and he lived in America, in California somewhere. He said, like, America is great. They have their own freedom, and people are nice and all this stuff. I was like, you know what? I want to be in America. I want to go to America. I was like, how would I get to America? Tell me. So he said, well, go apply for a visa. So one day, 2009, I was a judo athlete. I was a judo athlete. So one day I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to America. And he said, it's a really hard visa. You're not going to get the visa. I was like, well, I'm going to try. So I prayed hard, really hard. I wasn't Christian back then, but I prayed really hard on my knees every single morning. I was like, God, send me to America. Somehow just let me put my foot over there so I can stay away from my family, and I can do that.
So you weren't a Christian yet at this time?
No, I wasn't a Christian at that time. So I was praying for the God, which I was introduced since I was born, and I was just praying hard. And, they say like there's only one God. If you pray to him hard, and who is Jesus Christ. So he was listening to me, and he has a plan for me. This is what I believe. So he had a plan for me. He's going to born in this family, he's going to born in Hindu family, and then he's going to go through with all this hardship in his life. I want to make him so strong. So one day he's going to inspire people for me. So I prayed to a God. I was like, hey, God, send me to America so I can go to America and I can live my freedom. So when I wanted to come to America, I didn't have any dream for inspiring any people. I just wanted to make money and live in a nicer house. That's it. That was my dream. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I want to go get a job. I will live in a nicer house. I will marry a nice girl, and I will never talk to my parents. That was my dream back then.
Right.
So, and the reason behind it, that dream, why I did not want to talk to my parents, because when I was growing up, I was a really wimpy kid. A lot of my friends, they used to make fun of me all the time. They used to bully me all the time because we were taking care of my mom, and I didn't get to go to the school. I have to take care of my siblings. So my dad would send us money. Hey, here's the money. Feed yourself, feed your family, your brother and sisters, and your mom. So we would go out and buy junk food. I got really chubby. People would call me fat, slob, lazy, mental retarded son, all these names. And I would just cry like a baby and just go home and sleep and get up other day and repeat the same thing. Cry every day, just go get a food and come back home. Cry every day, go back, get a food and come back home.
Wow.
So that was my life. That was my life. So I was like so that happened after my sister was born. My sister, she was born close to 1994. And I was around like 8 to 10 years old that time. If my math is horrible. So, 8 to 10 years old that time. And then after my sister, she was born, my mom got really sick because all that thing was happening. Because I didn't know what happened before that when she was married. They had an arranged marriage. So I was figuring out stuff when I was like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was figuring out stuff because at that time I was getting more mature, maybe. I was getting more aware of things, so I was figuring all this stuff out. And then one day, one of my neighbor, he saw me, he said, hey, you're being a wimp. Why won't you go work out or do something? I was like, I don't know how to work out. He said, why won't you come with me? I will take you to teach judo. I was like, judo, what is that? So he said, this is what we do. So he didn't have a phone or video. He was just explaining me what he does. I was like, that looks very harsh. I mean, how I'm going to do that? I'm a really weak person. I cannot do that. He said, no, you can do it. And then there was another neighbor who told me, you know what? You don't have to learn judo. What I'm going to do, I'm going to keep you safe from all these neighborhood kids. All you have to do is just hang out with me and do work for me. I was like, well, that sounds like a good deal. I don't have to work hard to protect myself. So I listened to that neighbor. The neighbor was really, really nice for 3-4 months. And then one day he asked me, he said, why won't you come with me? And we're going to go this place for a jogging and I will teach you a little bit exercise. So he took me in, a park, a garden, close to like a railway station where there's a railroads are. And then when we went there, he said, okay, we're going to go in there. So it was like there was nothing around it, railway track and all this stuff. He said, we're going to work out back there. I was like, okay. I mean, like I was like a naive that time, 11-year-old hanging out with like 23-year-old person. I think he was around that age. I had no idea what he's going to do. So he tried to freaking rape me. He said, pull your pants down and, and this is what's going to happen. And I begged him. I was like, please, please, please don't do that to me. And then something happened by God's grace. We heard a noise or something, and then I had a chance to run away.
Wow.
So after that day, I told my good neighbor, this is what he did to me. And he was like, his parents were a cop, so they talked to him. And the other guy, he never talked to me. So I was saved, man. It was a horrible thing to happen with anyone. So you can't even imagine, I can't even imagine. So we heard all the time, the person got raped. I was on that situation, where that was about to happen with me. So I listened to the good neighbor. Finally, I did not have any choice. I have a only choice to even stand up for myself, become strong, or stay a wimp. I have a two choice, so they talk to my dad. They say, hey, your son needs help and we can help him out. So the neighbor asked me to go join judo. My very first day at the judo, I stepped in the dojo in judo hall and I saw people are flipping each other over, throwing on the ground, boom, boom, boom noise. And I was like, they're going to kill me. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what I'm going to do? And, that was the hardest thing I have ever did, step on the judo hall. And that changed my entire life.
Wow.
So, long story short, within 1 year, I tried to quit maybe like 30 times. When I was thinking, I'm not going to go back again. That's it. That's enough. I'm too sore today. I'm not going to work out. And then all these coaches, they showed up at my door because they knew my story, what happened to him. His mom is sick. His dad stays out of town. All these senior people, who was at the judo hall, they showed up at my door and they were grabbing my hand. No, you need to come with me. They will take me to the judo hall and practice. After 1 year, I became 6 times national champion, 12 times state champion. I represented myself in Junior Asian Games in Russia 2004. I went Japan for judo practice in 2009, and I was in ESPN, I was in newspaper, I was like all over, and all these people who used to make fun of me, now they were like sitting aside and they were watching me thrive, So at that time, a lot of ego was in me because I was stronger than ever. I almost felt like a Superman or Captain America, and I had a lot of ego in me. Then my dad would try to hit me. I would hold his hand, put him on the side. Hey, sit down on the corner. I want to punch you on your face and you're going to fall on the floor. That's the only choice I had. He would do something with my mom. I had to do that. But like, I could not live in India. So I went to the United States Embassy. 2009, closer to July, I'm not sure. That day, the guy name was Henry. I was like, Henry, I need to go to America because I'm going to go play judo there. And there's a judo competition. I want to go play a judo competition and I'm going to come back in 2 weeks. So Henry said, give me your passport. I want to send you a visa. I was like, what? Is it that easy? God, it was all God because God wanted me to be here. He gave me the visa. He gave me 10-year visa. I came to the States. After I came to the States, one of my cousin, he's supposed to pick me up from the airport. He didn't pick me up from the airport. I only had $200 US dollars in my pocket. And I was keep calling him. I wasted my money. I only have $100 left. I called my friends back in India. I was like, hey, my cousin is not picking me up. I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, I'm going to give you somebody else's number. He gave me somebody else's number. So I'm going to made up some names here for the states because I can't reveal the name because the guy who were picking me up, they were really nice. But at the same time, it is my journey. I was going through with all that hardship and nasty things coming my way. So I had to make sure, I want to make sure I don't hurt these people who was trying to save me according to them to revealing their name and the states. So
that's totally cool.
So I was in the JFK and the guy was from Texas. So that's a made up name for the state I was in. Guy was from Texas. He was Indian guy. He said, you know what? I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you a job. I'm going to get you a house. You just work for me. Okay. I will find you a job. I was like, yes, sir. And he picked me up from the Texas airport. And he has a big limousine. He came in the bigger limousine. He's a multi-billionaire Indian guy. He picked me up from the limousine and he said, let's come here and chill with me. I was like, oh my gosh, I just hit a jackpot. First day in America in limousine. And we end up at the strip club. First day in America, end up in the strip club. I am 21 years old. I do not know anything about Jesus. I was like, that's wonderful. I was like, awesome. Take me to a strip club, man. That's amazing. So I'm a young guy, single guy. What else you want in your life? And so in the strip club, watching all these things, and I'm so happy. I was like, oh my gosh, so glad I'm here. So after like a 3-4 month, I was not getting any job. People were playing me around. Then they sent me to some other people to work for. I worked there for a free. I was working for some people for like hard work for 6 months. Didn't pay me a dime. Then they would tell me, well, you're still learning. Then I was talking to American people. I was like, I need a job. I'm not getting paid. He said, you can report about them. So the people were from my own community. They said, people taught me who were born here, Native Americans. They say, you can report about them in this labor bureau or somewhere, and you can get your money from them. And the guy said, the people who come first time in America, they have to work like that and all that thing. So they just needed the free labor. This is what they do. When people come from different country, they hire them, they don't pay them money, they don't treat them right. And they told me, never work for a white people. If you're going to work for a white people, you're going to lose your integrity because they don't know what they are doing. And they were my own people. And this is why I'm going to freaking write my book and tell other people, like, what other people think about them, so we can change the world. It's about changing the world, and that's how we change the world. We put the truth in front of people and let them judge others. And even we are not judging. This is called discernment. As a Christian, we call it discernment. You take other people's action, what they are doing. So, well, this person didn't pay me. So I was like, well, you're not paying me. I can't stay here. So I moved to another state. And I was working there at the gas station, and all these people working at the gas station for that person for like almost 5-6 years, and they all were stealing from him. And I told my owner, my boss, well, this guy steal all that money every day by buying lottery, and he don't give people, when the people win the lottery, he tell them they didn't want any lottery, and he puts that money in his pocket. That's stealing. So my boss said, really, he's doing that? He said, yeah. And for somehow, I don't know what these people told him, but he said, you're fired. I was like, what? I'm getting fired for my honesty? He said, yeah, you're fired. These people are working for me for a long time, and you cannot say these things to them, and you were the one who was stealing. That was a shock.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I want to call someone else. And they say, we have a friend in Louisville, Kentucky. If you want to go there. I was like, okay, send me to Louisville, Kentucky. I came to Louisville, Kentucky. People were paying me this time. They were keep telling me the same thing. Never date a white girl. White girls are not trustworthy. But I knew better than that. I was like, well, I have to find somewhere so I can, do my thing. So, man, I was working at this place. They were putting me in the hates. One day, one Korean American guy, he showed up at my door where I was working, and he said, hey, would you like to come dinner with us sometime? We do Bible story group right here in this apartment. If you want to come, he's a young guy just like me. I was like, sure, I would like to do that. And I was like, there's going to be great food, and we have a lot of other Indian people. I was like, yeah, I would like to hang out with other Indian people. So we went to this Bible story group. That was the first day, and the guy name was Dan. I'm going to say his last name because I don't have his permission. So his name was Dan. He was a minister. He was a missionary for immigrant people. So he can go, and he was in the college. So his job was as a missionary to help immigrants or students who came from a different country, help them get to know Jesus. So that's how I got to know Jesus. From that day, it's been a hard step. From that day, it changed my entire life. So he asked me, so tell me a little bit about your religion. What is your religion? I was like, we have 3 billion god and goddesses, and we pray for them. It's like 3 billion god and goddesses, how that works. So again, my mom and dad are still Hindu. I respect them from bottom of my heart. They have the same religion. But I always had questions, but they never answered my questions. But how come 300 billion god and goddesses, but they're supposed to be one God? And all the books we were reading, gods are killing each other and, trying to do bad things with each other. Well, why God has to do that? But God is so powerful though. Why God has to do that? So when I got to hear about Jesus, what he did, he showed his love. He died for other people to show them. He gave you free choice. I'm going to give you free choice. You're going to eat this apple. If you're going to eat this apple, but you can, but I'm asking you, do not eat this apple because it's not good for you. But we didn't listen to them. Mm-hmm. And he didn't put that apple out of our reach. He didn't put that apple on top of the tree. Tree was right there, and he asked us, do not eat that apple because I'm God. I'm telling you to do this. Satan came, asked us, God do not want you to eat that apple because you're going to be like God. So we didn't trust God, but when I was reading other book, they don't say all these things. They said it's a karma, what you're going to do, you're going to get back, but we made a mistake to eat that apple, and this is where we are.
Yeah.
But our God gave us free choice. But when I was learning there, that say, our God, we don't have a free choice. You're going to get a karma. If you're going to do bad things going to happen to them. And if you're going to donate so much money, you can wipe out your bad things. So all that stuff didn't make sense to me, and that's how I became Christian. There's a lot we can talk about. If you have more questions, I would happy to answer. That's how I became Christian. Yeah.
Wow, man. That is an amazing story of just how God kind of was with you and leading you along, even when you didn't know it, when you were blind to it.
I know.
Going through all those steps just to finally have some random guy come in kind of and invite you to a Bible study, and you're like, okay. And then it sounds like it just kind of clicked for you, like, wow, this actually makes sense. I had all these questions about my Hindu religion and nobody could answer them, and it just logically it didn't make sense, morally it didn't make sense, kind of theologically it didn't make sense. But then I hear the story of Jesus and I'm like, now that makes sense.
Yeah. And like in America, like as a Christian people, they're always sit on the corner, especially missionary people, because they want to have an opportunity to serve you. As an American, we always like to serve. So we always look for opportunity to serve other people. And this is what makes us better. I mean, we are not perfect. Don't take me wrong. I'm not saying we are the better people in the world. Mm-hmm. But like as a Christian, and if we follow him, there's a lot of Christians, not judging anyone, but like if we follow him and we do his will, good things comes our way. And I wasn't aware of it when I was growing as a Christian. First 5 years I was sinning. I still sin. I'm right now, maybe I'm sinning, even talking. I don't know what I'm saying wrong and not, but like Holy Spirit is one who you talk. He said, hey, pour yourself out there, tell people what is the truth, so people can hear from you what is the truth is.
Yeah, I'm curious. All these things about how you got tossed around from job to job and people weren't paying you and they weren't being right with you. Then you got fired from this other job because you actually did tell the truth. What made you stay in America then? I mean, why didn't you just go back to India?
Yeah, because still the life was like heaven for me. The air I breathe here is way cleaner. That worth it. The 6 months I didn't get a job, but I was breathing on this air, that worth it. The beauty I see here, that worth it. The people I see here, that worth it to me. So I was not getting paid, but I was getting used to it. And I know there was always a light for me, because when I go outside, there's all nice things. But on this little pod I was living in, where I was thinking, I'm not getting paid today, but there's more opportunity. How can I get, when I didn't came to go back. I was like, I want to stay
right.
in this beautiful country. And I know I meant to born here. That's what I thought. But I don't know why I am born in India, but I was meant to come here,
Yeah.
and because I mean, who would want to go back from America? I mean, come on. I mean, it's a blessing. Every time you step in forward, I was like, oh, wow, what a beauty, what a wonderful thing. Like everywhere, when you hear from people, they're living their dreams. So that makes you want to do something better. I was like, oh, I just need a little house and I can live my all life in this little house, and I knew there was a hope for me. There was a hope for me. And I don't know what it was, but I always been, I think after playing judo and stuff, I knew I can do better. I can do better. I can do better. Yeah.
It sounds like two things I hear coming out of your story is one, it was so bad back home in India, in your family and in the culture you were living in, that even though these bad things were happening to you in America, it was still better. And then the second thing, it sounds like you kept seeing all this opportunity, which maybe back home you didn't have any hope of any opportunity. No. And I think it's important to get your perspective, because sometimes we can get down on our country and we can look at the news and things that are happening in the news and in politics and decisions that are being made and laws that are being enacted. And we don't really realize how good we still have it in America, and how much freedom we still do have and how much opportunity we still do have. And so it's neat, really neat and eye-opening, as a matter of fact, to get your perspective of someone who has been on both sides, you know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, I wanted to let you know that registration and enrollment for the Ironman Mastermind is now open until the last day of the month. Now, the Ironman Mastermind was designed to help you level up as a Christian man, because the men here are doing more than just talking about becoming better men. They're doing the work. They're holding one another accountable. They're challenging each other. We're praying for one another. And when you become a member of the Ironman Mastermind, you'll have exclusive access to these men, to the tools, resources, trainings, and connections that we all have in there to help you become the man that God has called and created you to be. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. I want you to listen to one of our current members, Al, tell you a little bit about his experience with the Ironman Mastermind. Now, if you're interested and open to finding out more, head on over to the show notes after you finish listening to the show and click on the Ironman icon in the upper right-hand corner. If you're on a laptop, and if you're on your phone, you'll see it there when you go to the show notes. Here's Al.
What's up, Dad Hackers? My name is Al Del Vecchio, and Patrick asked me to do a little video about the Ironman Mastermind that I'm part of. Gotta tell you, I was skeptical at first because I'm already involved in the community. I'm involved in my church, have a men's group that I meet with face to face. Like, why do I need this? But I did it. I went in and tried it for a month, and I was blown away. Just a group of men that not only support each other and pray for each other, but literally dedicate 40 minutes every week to one person in the group. And that person gets the undivided attention of everybody in the group. And whatever you're going through, whatever problem you're trying to solve, all of these guys are there for you. They are your wise counsel. And beyond being wise counsel, man, they are your brothers in Christ. And you get to get close with these guys and learn every facet about them. You get to pray for them and pray with them. They pray for you. And it's just been an amazing, amazing time of growth. I got some revelation that I've been looking for almost a year now, in one night with these guys. So highly recommend you check out the Ironman Mastermind. It's been a huge blessing to me, and I know it would be a blessing to you. God bless you guys. Have a great day.
And and I think America is the only country in the whole entire world on the earth which is super blessed with everything. We have our freedom of speech. We can do whatever we want. We can choose to be a positive person, or we can choose to be a pornographer. There's a two thing America give you. And again, America will still love you. We will still love people. Do whatever you want to do, but we're going to still love you. And I think this is where, as a business owner, Christian business owner, you, me, and some other people, we need to stand up more to pour love out of people. And by living as an example, even though we're going to make mistakes, how can we do better, and how can we keep our country, strong? And I have this Bible verse I would like to share actually, which I was reading. I read that verse all the time, which makes me want to believe more in myself and in America. So, but you are chosen, a holy nation, a people for God's own possession, so that you may proclaim the excellence of him who has called you out darkness into his marvelous light. And I think this resonates with you and other American people in the world. And because we forget sometimes what we have here as a country. We are the only one in the world Who's taking care of other people around the world? I was doing that research when I wanted to make a post about 4th of July. American military is the only military in the whole entire world who has 27 or more military troops around the world. Rest of the world, Germany and England, maybe have like 12 or 13. That's it. Why we are always trying to play above the line? Why there's a reason? Because we are freaking Americans, and this is what we do. And we know we can do better job than anyone else. And that's right. We know we can do better job than anyone else in whole entire world, because, well, what happened when Hitler came? Europe was fighting with Germany with Hitler, when America has to finally step in and make that happen.
Yeah.
What happened with other countries? Well, I know people hate America because they think we are whoever we are, but that's not true. We are taking care of other people. When people come to our border, when people do crime in their country, they come to America and file asylum. Criminals file asylum. We give them shed. Okay, come on, baby. We're going to help you out. We're going to help you out. Come on, that's okay. When all other religion people, we welcome all religions. So you cannot say like we hate immigrants or we hate other religions, Christian, Hindu, or whoever. My mom and dad came to the country. They were Hindu. No problem. Never had any problem. Muslim friends came to the country. Never had problem, because we believe in, I want to fix this real quick. We believe in helping other people. We believe in like pouring our love out of people who even hate us, because we believe in people more than they believe in themselves. Why we do that? We are freaking Americans. This is what we do.
Yeah.
We believe in people. We see opportunity in them because we know they can do better. Maybe they are naive now, just like I was. Just like my coach, they did not give up on me when I was like 15 years old. My Christian friends did not give up on me when I was like slacking off, and was not following Jesus 100%. Even though I'm still not following him 100%, it's always going to be a hard route to follow. But we are trying. We are doing our better, and this is what we can do. And that's who Americans are. And we need to feel like we are chosen. We are so chosen people, because and we have to walk on his faith. It's really, really important for us.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I like that verse. I think it's from 1 Peter, right?
Yeah, it's from 1 Peter 2:9. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Excellent. We did a Bible study a couple months back, and we did verse by verse all the way through 1 Peter, and I got to teach some of the lessons. That's an amazing book, and that is a very, very amazing passage. I really like that one. I'm curious. You talked about how some of your own people were telling you, don't work for a white man, don't date a white girl, but yet you told me in the beginning your wife is white. So like, how'd that happen?
Yeah. So I don't want to be here racist or anything. I think it's I always want to date a white girl, and I dated 6 other girls before my wife. I dated 6 other white girls before my wife, but like we did not match, and I was not Christian back then. So at the same Bible story group, I had one Indian Christian friend. She used to come to a work where I used to work, and she came and she told me. So that's how I got invited to the Bible story group too, because of the girl. They were like, there is a one girl, whenever she smiles, she reminds me of you. I was like, really? I was like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. She said, no, you should meet her. I was like, okay. And she said the same thing to my wife. He's like, Janeda, there's a guy. She said he's so cute, even though I know I'm not cute. I'm cute. I know that. I'm just kidding. And she told my wife, there's a guy, he's so cute.
Yeah.
You should come see him. And my wife said the same thing. Okay, I will come, and my wife, she wasn't dating someone at that time, and so we were at the same Bible story group. That's how we met. And on our first date night, we talked for like 12 hours. Like 8 p.m. to like 4 a.m. in the morning. We just talk and talk. I was sharing my dream with my wife. I was like, this. And, since then we just started liking each other. And I dated a lot of Indian women. I had a lot of thank you. So I'm confessing my sin here. I have a lot of Indian girlfriends. So they did not treat me like my wife do to me. My wife, she's a very open heart, so much love. And it's not like other girls did not love me, but like my wife is different. The American culture is so different. Not like all people are like that, but my wife, she grew up in like a really good Christian conservative people. So, and I think she was the one I was looking for. I mean, I didn't want her to have a girl like who smoke or drink, and I can't even stand besides people who smoke. So there's other girlfriends, they were smoking, they go to the hookah bar and stuff. I was like, I'm not a hookah guy. I'm not going to go to hookah bar. So my wife was like sober, and all she like to do back then is like eating pizza and soft drinks, which she don't do it anymore. Because I was like, you're gonna have to stop that if you're gonna be dating, because that's very unhealthy. Like my wife, she's gonna hate me for saying that, but like she has forgiving me so many times. But I'm gonna share that she was 190 pounds, 194 pounds when we met. She was 5'4", eating all kind of crap. So we fight a lot for our food, with our marriage, during our marriage. And then now she said she have never, that was her words. She said she never dreamed in her life she ever gonna able to wear skinny jeans. So she's fit as she can be. She looked great back then. She looked great now. She was not just healthy. And I was looking more for people with their heart. You need to have a good heart, whomever you hang out with. If they don't have a right heart, you can help people with their eating habit. It's not a big deal for me, because I'm like really hard-headed. I was like, if we are getting married, this food needs to go out of my house, because that depresses me. So you're going to have to throw away all the junk food, and then we will say our vows. Otherwise, we are not. So that was our agreement. And she, now we do eat, pizza once a while,
Right.
Free, or we make at home just once a while. No, it's not like that she was eating before. I'm a really hard person to live with. I mean, she knows that, and she will tell you the same thing. But I think that's what helps keeps our family fit and strong, and we lead our kids in a right direction. Hey, and I tell my kids all the time, you are American, and American people have a better discipline. So don't show me you cannot do that. And this is how I talk to my kids. I just tell them, hey, just don't forget who you are. It is really important to know, you are born here. Maybe you don't understand that, but ask daddy where daddy is coming from. I tell them all my story like I'm telling you. I have to tell them because, I want to make sure my kids understand,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So while we're on this subject of health and diet and exercise, I know a lot of times when guys get married, especially when they start to have kids, there's even a name for it. It's the dad bod. I mean, the health just begins to take a nosedive. How, I know you've worked with lots of guys and coached and trained and gotten really, really good results with a lot of people. What are some common things that you see in men who are fathers that really help them get their health on track when they're trying to get out of that dad bod type of mentality or type of look, and they, I think a lot of guys, they want to be healthy, but they feel like they don't have the time, or they don't know what to do. I feel most of the time it's more that they feel like they don't have the time. So anyway, that's a long-winded way of asking the question. Basically, what are some of your advice for dads who are busy but don't like the dad bod thing?
Yeah. So it's a great question. And, one of my best question I would say I like to answer the very first thing we have to pray, right? Even on my business banner, I say here, First Corinthians 6:19-20. You are brought here for a price. You want to make sure you're taking care of the God temple. So our body, I know we have a busy schedule, but like if we're not going to take care of the body, God is not going to bless us. Because everything we do in the glorify of God. And also, you have to connect with people. First thing, you have to have a coach in your life. Without coach, you cannot do anything. Just like Patrick, you keep people on track, with their mission, so they can become a better dad. And me, I have a business coach, like who keeps me on track so I can stay good in business. So make sure you have a coach. If you do not have a coach and you want to like talk to like some of the people, like you stay really good in shape. So there's another Bible verse you can use first. Everything we come from the wisdom of God. Walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion of fool suffers harms. Proverb 13:20. If you are not going to hang out with people who is better than you, where you are what you are trying to achieve, you will never ever succeed. Because if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God. So first we have to just ask God, who I need in my life, so who can help me with what I'm struggling with. For me, if I need someone in life, I need to become a better dad, Patrick is my guy. Okay, if I need to become a better business coach, my Bob client, he's a Bob Norcross, he's one of my client. He's a successful businessman. I ask him for advice. He's a Christian guy, and if I need to go, I'm having trouble with my tooth, I'm going to go find a dentist. So sometimes it's really, really hard to do everything by yourself. So connect yourself with a good peers who can help you become a stronger person. And first thing first, you have to work on your sleep. Like you said, you all work on the time management, or you're working on some kind of product with the time management. Time management is really, really huge. Think about like how much time you're spending on screening. If you're spending that 20 minutes on screening, can you do 20 minute brisk walk? Can you do your nutrition planning for that 20 minutes? Where are you spending your time? If you don't have a time management, if you're getting up 6 a.m. in the morning, going to bed like 8 a.m. in the night, during that 12 hours, what you did, during that 14 hours, what you did, let's say you worked for 8 hours, what did you do the rest of the 4 hours? 30 minutes for kids, 30 minutes for wife, 1 minute for your workout. Are you doing that or not? Or are you watching TV? TV doesn't even matter. I can throw away my TV tomorrow if my wife let me, So we have all these rules in my house. And I'm going to call them rules because, as a man, we give up so quick because wife be like, oh, that's okay, they can watch TV. No, honey, we're going to have to make time. We're going to have to put it on our schedule. Is it important for them or not? So time management is a huge key. First, find out what is your time, and what is important for you. Connect with people who can help you. If you can connect with people who can help you, you're going to succeed. Is that answer your questions?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that when you touched on the time management piece, that's so crucial, because that's what a lot of guys say when they come into our Dad Hackers group, is that one of the biggest struggles they have is time. And a lot of guys, including myself, we feel so busy that our schedules are so jam-packed that we don't have any additional time. We feel like that. But I think what you said is like, do a time audit. Look, see what your actual activity is throughout the day. Okay, you got to work for 8 hours. You want to be intentional with your wife. You want to be intentional with your kids. But where's all that time? What are those time wasters? Are you scrolling Facebook for 20 minutes like you were talking about with the screen management? Are you just mindlessly watching Game of Thrones for, binging on it on Netflix or whatever? I think if we're being honest with ourselves and we do a time audit like that, I'd say a vast majority of men can really, really carve some extra time out of their schedule if they're really being honest. I really think there's very far and few in between men who literally have a jam-packed schedule where they can't get any additional time. And then I guess if that is the case, like if your schedule is jam-packed, then you really need to check your priorities and see where you're spending all this time in doing these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely good. So you talked a little bit about some rules in the house with television. How do you promote a healthy lifestyle for your whole entire family? I think it's one thing to take care of yourself as a man, but then I think it's a whole nother thing to lead in that area of health and wellness and caring for the temple that God's given you in the context of your whole family. So how do you bring your family into a healthy lifestyle?
Yeah. So for my family, as when we got married, me and my wife, we decided like we're not going to bring any food in the house. I already have a dream set up for my family. And my wife said, well, once a while kids can have that snacks. Those are all preservative and whatever they call
like processed food.
Yeah, processed food and stuff. So I told my wife, like, we're not going to do that, honey. I was like, you have to really understand, you grew up in this culture, here, because in India, I only ate like vegetables and lentil and beans. That's all I ate. Meat was a treat for us, and over here, I just told my wife, I was like, the truth is you only have to eat certain amount of food to survive. So I look back in Africa where people don't even have food to eat, so that saves us like a lot of money too. I was like, just think about those people that you're asking your kids need like gummy bears for snacks and your kids need like all the things for snacks. I was like, think about, can kids survive without that or not? Or just give me a short answer, Patrick. Do you think kids can survive without the gummy bears? Yes, they can.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, they can. So don't give me an excuse by saying that they need a snack. I was like, give them a banana. Give them a banana. And like, again, you just have to be really creative with kids, so sometimes what we do, we put a toothstick, and on toothstick, we put like a big banana. We make grapes, arms with the grapes, and then we put like a 2 chocolate chip in the banana. And I was like, so it looks like delicious snacks for the kids. And I was like, hey, eat it. And they eat it. They like it. They like those little things. They're only eating 2 chocolate chips a day, but like that's their sweet tooth. And for my wife, we just have worked so hard in praying. I was like, because I knew the only way I can win my wife are by praying with her, holding her hand. Like Eve asked Adam to eat the apple, and we told God that was her. She asked me to do it. So I feel like, I don't want to be that Adam, even though I have become Adam so many times. I was like, so I'm just truly telling you here, like, I have to lead my family. So if I have to lead my family, I have to look into a word of God, what God wants me to do, and just hold my wife's hand and just pray with her, honey, let me please do that, because I'm doing this for your good and my good and for my future. I want to make sure my kids become president one day, maybe, or maybe not. I want to make sure when they grow up, so that should be their first priority, taking care of like American people's health and telling them what is the truth. If I will never become a president because I wasn't born here, but if I would become president, fast food chains are going down. I want to invest to people on more whole foods. Okay, invest more money in whole foods so we can have more of that. So that's the way it's to look at it. It's a hard life. So basically, like, hard choices, easy life. Easy choices, hard life. So which choices would you like to make? You want to make hard choices because we are strong. We can make hard choices. Again, we are strong Christian Americans, and we make hard choices so we can do better things, bring better things in future for our country and for our kids. And as a man, we have to do that.
I really like that saying, a hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. And I think lots of times it's very tempting to make those easy choices because you kind of get that instant gratification, but then the long term, you're not thinking of the long-term consequences that ultimately result in a hard life down the road.
Yeah.
If you sit around and eat potato chips every day after work and watch 3 hours of television, that's an easy choice, but it leads to a hard life down the road when your health crashes and then, you can't take care of yourself and you're 56 years old or something like that.
That's right.
But gee, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. We're going to have to wrap up. We're bumping up against time here. If guys want to get a hold of you or what you're doing with GFit Life, what would be the best way for them to connect with you and what you're doing?
Yeah, they can connect with me on Facebook.
Cool.
So it's a GFit Life. They can type GFit Life. They're going to see my business page. And also they can add me on my first name, Gaurav, Gaurav, middle name, Zane, Zane, last name, Sharma. And I have an Instagram page, which is like a GFit Life, gfit.life. They can connect me there. So most of the time, like my social media guys, they are taking care of that. But I check my messages at least once a week. If they ever have any question, they can ask me any question about anything.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I'll definitely link all of your contact info up in the show notes, and so guys can connect with you. I got one final question for you, and I'm really, really interested to hear your answer to this question, particularly from the background you have of your home life growing up. But G, in your opinion, what makes a great dad?
What makes a great dad?
Yeah.
You have to really think about, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing with the Word of God? Everything, we cannot do everything by ourselves. We are like so weak as a man. We are so weak naturally as a human. We are just so weak. You want to make sure your spirit is talking to your kids the way God talks to you, the way God gave you wisdom, and making time for your family, making time for your kids is super, super important. So they say if you even make like 10 minutes a day with your son or your daughter intentionally, like put the phone away. So if I have this phone and I'm talking, okay, Jay, so how was your school today? How was your school? And Jay is replying me. But say if you would do that, you put this thing away and you look in the person's eye and say, so Jay, how was your day today? And they freak out. Why he's looking me into the eye? So that's intention. It's very intentionally. So you're looking at your child is very precious to you. Your child is like a blessing of God. So you're going to look at your kid's eye and say, so how was your day, honey? Do you have a good day? And then they reply you, that's intentional. It is very, very important for dad to have that eye contact, and just tell their kids how much they love them. Like there's no days goes by. Like my daughter, she's turning 11 and she's on the teenage year where she don't like to hug me anymore. I just from every bedroom before she go to bed, I was like, hey, Marissa, daddy loves you.
Mm-hmm.
There's no days goes by when I do not tell my kids I love you, and because I know I'm busy and I have to make time for my kids, and I just do more intentionally. You want to make sure you're reading a word of God and talking to your kids by looking in their eye, because that connection you make when you talk to like a kids in their eye, they find they are worthy. So when you're talking to someone, your kids, and you're looking at your phone or computer or TV, okay, Jay, you can go out and play. Well, can you take that second and put this phone down for me? And then tell your son, okay, you can go out and play. Because you never even know if the son is coming back or not. He can go on the street, he can hit by the car. And then you were like, that's the last time you connected with your son on your phone by giving an answer, okay, you can go out and play. So I am learning to do that. I'm learning to do that. So I think that's what our kids need. And, and as a dad, it's a word of God, man, everything in there. If we're going to fail our time, like so many times, we're going to fail so many times our expectation. But if you're not listening to him, Jesus Christ, it can be really harmful for our soul and spirit. So if you are reading our daily devotional, he's going to keep you on track, and just try your best every day. Try to become a better than you were yesterday, or better dad you were like a minute ago. So you made a mistake by looking at phone reply. Next time, do better. Just do better. That's all we can do. We will never reach perfection because we are not perfect. We will never ever reach perfection. But all you can do your best. Do your best.
Awesome, man. Well, G, I really appreciate you coming on the show today. I appreciate everything that you shared. I mean, your story is amazing, and it was just wow to hear everything you went through, and how God has taken you in the path that you've been down with him, and where you are now. And I'm kind of excited to see what God's going to do with you next. But just thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us today. And I know you guys are going to.
I would like to say something before we all leave. I just want to tell your audience, or whoever going to be watching this video, I just wanted to let you know, God has a purpose for you. There's a reason you were if you get to watch this, there's a reason you are watching this. So believe in yourself, believe in America, believe in your Jesus Christ, the only Lord Savior, because he's the only one can help you and me and Pat, and you want to make sure never, ever, ever give up on your dreams. Several years ago, 250, 60 years ago, Americans decided they're going to build a country. That was the dream of one person. That's how we get together. As a Christian, we get together and we make things happen. And always just hold each other's hand. Stick with Patrick. If you want to become a better dad, stick with Patrick, and give him all you got, all you need. Unlike all different social media channels, just be with one channel who's going to help you. Once you have one person you're following, you're going to become who you are. So never ever give up on your dream. And we all are on the same journey. We all are just trying to become a better person. So never give up your dream and keep moving forward. And I love you guys. And I'm your friend G. Thank you for watching this.
All right, G. Thank you so much for your message at the end.
Thank you.
You take care, man.
You too, bro. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, there's our show with G. Sharma. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope our conversation was a blessing to you. Make sure you head on over to the show notes at dadhackers.us/059 to hear about all the resources from the show. You'll get links for how to connect with G and what he's doing with G Fit Life, as well as opportunities to connect more with the Dad Hackers community. And don't forget to check out the Ironman Mastermind group. Registration is now open until May 31st. All right, guys, remember, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another.